Welcome back. I'm Max Moyo, your coach and teacher of simple and timeless principles of human effectiveness. This is the Leadership Operating System Africa Rising Edition. In episode 1, we began with the burden, the weight you cannot unsee, the responsibility that follows you home. Today, we move to the next layer, identity, because the burden does not only rest on what you know, it exposes who is carrying it. When the leadership weight gets heavy and your title does not take over, your identity does. You can look strong when things are calm and still not know yourself. Then pressure comes. Deadlines tighten, numbers drop, conflict rises, and then silence enters the room, and suddenly another version of you appears. That is why pressure is revealing. Pressure does not create a new leader. It reveals the one already there. And this is where many leaders struggle. Not because they are not intelligent, not because they do not care, not because they lack skill, but because under pressure they become someone else. More controlling, more defensive, more performative, more sharp, more silent, more absent. And then the team feels it very quickly. The room changes. People stop bringing truth. They start bringing survival. They start managing the leader instead of serving the mission. That is expensive. Expensive for trust, expensive for culture, expensive for speed, and expensive for the future. So let us name this clearly. Identity is not your title. It is not your reputation, and it is not your gifting. Identity is who you are when outcomes are uncertain and applause is gone. It is what rises in you when fear enters the room. This matters deeply for Africa Rising, because nations do not rise only through plans. They rise through people who can carry weight without collapsing into ego, fear, or performance. Africa Rising is not only an economic conversation. It is a leadership formation conversation. And leadership formation becomes visible under pressure. Two leaders can carry the same burden and produce two different cultures. One carries the weight and becomes clearer. The other carries the weight and becomes dangerous. Same pressure, different identity. Maybe pressure makes you controlling. You interrupt. You tighten your grip. You stop listening. You call it standards. But the room experiences fear. Maybe pressure makes you perform. You sound polished. You say the right things. You project strength. But inside, you're panicking. And the people can feel the gap between your words and your presence. Maybe pressure makes you withdraw. You go quiet, unavailable, unclear, and you call it processing. But the team experiences absence. Maybe pressure makes you blame. You get sharp. You start naming faults. You protect yourself. You call it accountability. But it is anxiety looking for a target. This is not about shame. This is about awareness. Because what you do not name, you cannot lead. And if your shadow leads long enough, people around you will pay for a battle they did not create. So start with honesty, not image. Honesty. Ask yourself, who do I become under pressure? Not who do I teach. Not who do I post. Not who do I want to be. Who do I become? What shows up first in me? Control, avoidance, performance, blame, withdrawal? What am I trying to protect in that moment? My image, my certainty, my comfort, my authority, my ego? And the hardest question of all, what does it feel like to be on the other side of me when I'm under pressure? That question can mature a leader. Because maturity is not only knowing your strengths, it is knowing your pressure pattern and refusing to let your shadow run the room. Let me make it practical. A simple pressure practice. Notice it, name it, repair it. Notice it. My body is tightening. My tone is changing. I'm speaking over people. I'm trying to force certainty. Name it. I'm under pressure and I'm moving into control. Or performance, or withdrawal, or blame. Repair it. Slow down. Tell the truth. Ask one clean question. Return to the mission. Sometimes repair sounds like this. I am reacting right now. Let me reset. I am pushing too hard. Let me listen. I'm not being clear. Let me say this plainly. That came out wrong. Let me correct it. Do not underestimate repair. Teams do not need perfect leaders. They need leaders who are aware enough to recover cleanly. That builds trust. That builds safety. And that builds credibility. And let me speak to those who are moving into leadership. Do not only prepare your skills, prepare your inner life. Because leadership eventually puts weight on every crack you refuse to address. Your gift may open the door. Your identity will decide what happens when pressure rises. So here is your reflection. What is my pressure pattern? What do people experience from me when I'm strained? Is one shadow behavior I must stop excusing? What is one repair sentence I will practice this week? And here's your 24-hour move. Ask one trusted person, what do I become under pressure that I may not be seeing clearly? Listen. Do not defend yourself. Write it down and thank them. Then choose one repair move and practice it immediately. Because when pressure rises, identity speaks. Make sure it is your best self leading, not your shadow. In episode 3, we move to conviction. Because once you can see the burden and govern your identity under pressure, the next question becomes unavoidable. What line will you hold when it costs you? What line will you hold when leadership suddenly has a price?